The Swiss pre-tournament gathering felt like a trap from the moment Magnus Carlsen arrived. Every chess elite was there, but Magnus knew that among the smiling faces and casual conversations, Kasparov's network was watching, waiting, and planning. What Magnus didn't expect was that his mission to save Ding Liren would expose the most shocking betrayal yet. Sergey Karjakin, Kasparov's most trusted enforcer, had been planning his own rebellion for years. You see, what unfolded in that luxurious Swiss resort would reveal that the conspiracy was more fractured than anyone realized. Because while Magnus thought he was infiltrating a unified network, the enforcers themselves were preparing to turn against their master. And Karjakin's double game would either save them all or destroy everything they had fought for. Magnus spotted Ding Liren across the hotel lobby, surrounded by officials and sponsors who had no idea they were looking at a victim of systematic manipulation. Ding appeared confident and composed, but Magnus could see the subtle signs of stress and confusion that came from questioning your own achievements. The approach had to be perfect. Magnus had one chance to warn Ding without alerting Kasparov's surveillance network to his true intentions. He waited until Ding stepped onto the terrace for air, then casually joined him as if for a spontaneous conversation between world-class players. "Ding, we need to talk," Magnus said quietly, activating the signal jamming device Dr. Chen had provided. "But first you need to know that everything you're about to hear is true, and your life depends on understanding it quickly." Ding's expression shifted from casual friendliness to concern as Magnus began revealing the evidence he had gathered during his infiltration. Bank records showing payments to Ding's opponents, communication logs discussing his family's safety. Most damning of all, psychological evaluation reports detailing how his championship path had been systematically cleared. "This is impossible," Ding whispered, studying the documents with growing horror. "You're telling me that my world championship was fabricated?" "Not fabricated," Magnus corrected. "Manipulated. Your chess ability is genuine, but your opponents were compromised, threatened, or eliminated to ensure your victory. They needed a legitimate champion they could control." As Ding processed this devastating revelation, Magnus noticed they were being watched. Sergey Karjakin approached from across the terrace, his expression unreadable. Magnus tensed, expecting confrontation or immediate exposure of his activities. "Magnus," Karjakin said calmly, "I think it's time we had an honest conversation. All three of us." Magnus prepared for the worst, but Karjakin's next words changed everything. "I've been waiting for someone to approach Ding for months. Kasparov ordered me to eliminate him weeks ago, but I've been delaying the operation." The admission hung in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. Karjakin, whom Magnus had identified as one of Kasparov's most dangerous enforcers, was revealing his own resistance to the network's orders. "You're supposed to eliminate me?" Ding asked, his voice barely controlled. "I was," Karjakin confirmed. "But I've been documenting Kasparov's elimination protocols for 2 years, gathering evidence of how the network destroys players who become inconvenient. Magnus, your infiltration wasn't as secret as you thought." Magnus felt his blood run cold. "You knew I was working against them?" "I knew you were too intelligent and principled to genuinely join Kasparov's operation," Karjakin replied. "But more importantly, I knew you would eventually approach Ding, giving me the opportunity I've been waiting for." Karjakin revealed that he had been recruited as an enforcer through threats against his family, just like many other players in the network. But his role had given him access to information about elimination protocols, psychological conditioning methods, and the full scope of Kasparov's operations. "The Russian double-agent protocol wasn't something I planned," Karjakin explained. "It evolved naturally as I realized that many of Kasparov's enforcers were as trapped as his victims. We're all being manipulated, threatened, or coerced into participation." Magnus studied Karjakin's expression, trying to determine if this was another layer of deception. How many other enforcers are planning to rebel? 7 that I know of personally, Karjakin replied. Players who have been gathering evidence while appearing to carry out Kasparov's orders. We've been waiting for the right moment to coordinate our resistance. Ding listened to this conversation with growing understanding of how completely his life had been manipulated. What happens now? If I refuse to continue as his controlled champion, what will they do to me? Karjakin's expression darkened. The elimination protocol for compromised champions is comprehensive. Career destruction, reputation annihilation, psychological harassment of family members. They'll make your life so miserable that you'll either submit completely or disappear from chess entirely. Magnus realized that saving Ding would require more than just warning him. It would require dismantling the entire network's ability to retaliate. Sergey, if you and the other enforcers are ready to rebel, we need to coordinate with the broader resistance. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say, Karjakin replied, producing a secure communication device. Anish Giri's resistance network has been more effective than Kasparov realizes. Several of us have been secretly feeding information to Dr. Chen and Viktor Petrov. The revelation transformed Magnus's understanding of the conflict. What he had thought was a desperate fight by a small group of resistance members was actually a coordinated uprising involving players throughout Kasparov's network. But there's something you need to know, Karjakin continued urgently. Kasparov has been planning his endgame for months. If he suspects that the enforcers are turning against him, he'll activate what he calls the final tournament protocol. Magnus felt a chill as Karjakin explained Kasparov's ultimate contingency plan. Rather than risk exposure of his network, he would eliminate competitive chess entirely, replacing human tournaments with AI-controlled exhibitions where outcomes could be predetermined without human unpredictability. He's been developing this technology for years, Karjakin revealed. Advanced AI systems that can simulate human chess playing styles so accurately that audiences won't be able to tell the difference. Players who refuse to participate will simply be replaced by digital versions of themselves. Ding stared at them in horror. You're saying he's planning to eliminate human chess players entirely? Only those who won't submit to complete control, Karjakin confirmed. Compliant players will be allowed to continue as figureheads, but their actual games will be played by AI systems following predetermined scripts. Magnus understood the implications immediately. Chess would become pure entertainment, with all competitive integrity eliminated in favor of manufactured narratives designed to maximize audience engagement and commercial profit. We have to stop this, Magnus declared. How long do we have before he implements the final protocol? That depends on how quickly he discovers our rebellion, Karjakin replied. I was supposed to report on Ding's elimination by tonight. When I fail to do so, he'll know something has gone wrong. The 3 players realized they had hours, not days, to coordinate a resistance operation that could expose and destroy Kasparov's network before he could eliminate human chess competition entirely. There's one more thing, Karjakin said, producing a final document that made Magnus's hands shake. Kasparov has been planning to replace you with an AI version for months. Your continued popularity makes you valuable, but your independence makes you dangerous. The document contained comprehensive plans for creating a digital Magnus Carlsen that could participate in tournaments, interviews, and promotional events, while the real Magnus was eliminated or imprisoned. The technology was sophisticated enough to fool most observers, including close friends and family. This isn't just about chess anymore, Magnus realized. He's threatening the authenticity of human achievement in any competitive field. Karjakin nodded grimly. The chess network was always intended as a prototype for broader applications. Sports, academics, business, politics. Any field where human performance can be digitally replicated and controlled. As they prepared to coordinate with the broader resistance, Magnus understood that they were fighting not just for chess integrity, but for the future of authentic human competition in any form. "Ding, are you ready to help us expose this?" Magnus asked. Ding looked at the evidence of his manipulation, then at the two players who were risking everything to save him. "My championship was stolen, my achievements were fabricated, and my life has been a lie. Yes, I'm ready to fight back." Karjakin activated his communication device to contact other rebelling enforcers. "The Russian double-agent protocol begins now. Within 6 hours, we'll either have dismantled Kasparov's network or triggered his final elimination of human chess." Magnus realized that their success would determine not just the fate of competitive chess, but whether future generations would compete as authentic human beings or as digitally controlled performances in Kasparov's manufactured reality. The final battle for human authenticity was about to begin, and Magnus Carlsen was leading an alliance he never could have imagined. Victims, resistors, and reformed enforcers united against a network that threatened to eliminate human achievement entirely. The war for chess's soul had become a war for humanity's right to authentic competition, and the outcome would be determined in the next few hours.